Hey, what's up? It's John from the YouTube channel Pro Craps. Back in 2021, we did a 24-hour telethon to raise funds for the National Council on Problem Gambling. In fact, we raised over $6,000 to raise awareness and provide resources for those with gambling problems. As part of the telethon, we interviewed over 20 of the biggest names in gambling to get their perspective on gambling issues, gambling problems, their experiences, and of course have a little bit of fun with them. Check out my conversation with Jeremy from Color Up as we met up with him between flights at the airport. Hey man, how are you? Can you hear me okay? Good, good. Yeah, you're actually at the airport, like waiting to board a plane here, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of time, obviously, because you're going to be flying out, and I got a guest coming on in a little bit. But let's chat real quick. So you're a big reason why we're doing this fundraiser for this charity. I think this is a piece that we had talked about privately. This issue of problem gambling, gambling addiction. I've been talking to everybody about it a little bit, and just kind of like it was interesting to talk to David Casino Quest as a dealer, what he's seen, what he's kind of gone through himself, and some of that stuff. And everybody's got their horror stories or things they've seen. I have as well, not me personally, but I've seen people go through this because I grew up near a casino. How about you? What is your connection to this, and what have you seen, heard, and how do you deal?
I don't know. I know I'm hearing a lot of echo, by the way.
Oh,
It's kind of tough to. I don't have a personality that's very addictive. So it's not really a problem for me, but I've seen it, and I know people deal with it. So it's tough because I'm obviously involved pretty heavily in in the industry, I guess you could say. And
yeah.
it's just a shame that for me it's an entertainment device, but it is a shame that people can't stop there. They can't set up boundaries for themselves, and so hopefully we can do a little bit of help.
Hopefully, I was talking to somebody. I won't divulge who it was, but I was talking to somebody about possibly coming on to this podcast or telethon, and he called me and he kind of grilled me a little bit, and he's like, "I love that you're doing that charity. It's a good cause, but why are you doing that?" He's like, "Why do you even have a channel? Like, if you're going to try and raise money to stop gambling addiction, why are you teaching people how to gamble?" And he kind of went after me pretty hard, and it was tough for me to answer the questions. So I'm going to make you answer the tough questions. Why? It's an interesting point, right? It's like we're trying to raise money to help, yet also teach people how to do it. And how do you? Because you said it's an entertainment thing for you personally, but your channel and my channel and everybody else we're talking to, we're on the other side of that.
I think it's doable because, for one, we're trying to, have people, whether through strategy or whatever, to try to approach the game as thoughtful and in the best position they can with as most knowledge about the game. But although it is a problem, just like anything else, it's not a problem for everybody, and it's not even a problem for a majority or maybe even a minority. It's probably a small amount that it's a problem for. It's just like actually drinking or whatever might be a bigger problem for people. But it's it's a small percentage, and we just want to help those that it does affect. But yeah, I think it is. We're not talking about huge numbers. I mean, if you look at the way that Las Vegas has transformed over the years, it's not really so much a gambling town as much anymore, right? It's like an entertainment town. Just because the money's not there, and especially these next generations that are coming up, they're not gamblers like it was. Because I think back then, prohibition and different things, people, it was that sin, that sin that they're looking for. And now it's just like, the younger people growing up, they don't really care.
That town has changed so much. I remember when it was a pure gambling mob run town, and then it was all about the family. Remember, they had all roller coasters and
they tried that.
They tried that, and that did not fly. I loved it, actually. I was telling the story earlier. My wife's a camel gambler. She can gamble for hours. 8-9 hours you can go, right? I can't. Craps is in and out sometimes. And I went to every casino. I've seen every casino in that city to go on the rides. I've seen the Sharks, the Mandalay Bay. I mean, I've just done the tour. I actually enjoyed when it was family time. Now when I do that, it's everything is off color now. Just, you're
Yeah,
running
it's
around,
definitely
you're running away from porn basically. So
yeah, it's an adult town for sure.
yeah.
But it's just not. I don't know. They just don't cater as much to the just
Mm-hmm.
gamblers. I mean, it's still there. Obviously, there's still plenty of opportunity, and
Yeah.
I've recently moved to Reno. It's a little different than Vegas in that it's more of like a city with casinos in it, as opposed to like casinos with a city surrounding it. But um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you see the couple people lounge, around that you can assume have a problem, but I think it's a small percentage, and you do want to look out for those. It is a problem for everybody, just like anything could be. So that's
Mm-hmm.
all. I don't think it's you know I don't think it's a huge deal, but you have to admit that it is a problem, and so that's what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to address
Yeah.
that.
Just raise some a little bit of awareness for sure. Yeah, Vegas. It's
Yeah,
funny.
I mean,
Vegas is it's changed. That city's changed so much, and one of the things we joke about the mob running it. The mob ran it right, except for unless you cross them, and you get your knees broken or something like that. But it's so different now, isn't it? Like the comps are different. The comps are all done on a computer. It isn't like, yeah, you're doing okay, we'll give you a room, because they want to keep you there. It's everything's a percentage of play, and things like crapless and the 000 roulette and all that is spreadsheet calculation, like Shackleford. Everything there is a tweak on a thing, and that's the new rule because Spanish 21 pays 0.0002% more than regular 21, and that's the thing. It's just so different now, and it's
yeah. I
none
mean,
of it's designed to help you.
no, it's corporations and they're squeezing pennies, so that's what they do. It's
Yeah.
not like, yeah. And sometimes you think it's gonna hurt, and like these decisions, like, okay, let's all go to 6 to 5 blackjack or whatever. You'd think it would hurt them, but I mean, that's my goal is, I will not play a $15 table. I'm like, if everyone could band together, we refuse the $15 table. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
keep them 10, but it's just not,
Yeah.
feasible. And so the casinos will just make more money because that's what
There's always
they do.
somebody. It's like drugs, right? It's like, okay, we all stop taking drugs, but there's somebody else in line that's going to buy the meth, right? There's always somebody
Yeah.
that doesn't know any better or doesn't care, and they'll play the $15 table, and as long as they're full, they're going to keep them. And the
Yeah.
same old true. Like, me, I'm always so against. Oh, here's a comment from Greg, by the way. So awesome to see Jeremy here. He's been such a positive influence. Thanks for what you do. That's from Greg at 555. But yeah, they're nothing they do is in your favor, right? And me, I'm always, I'm so anti-crapless, and I'm, halfway anti-roll to win for lots of reasons, And I think to me, that's more what we're going to start seeing is big time game changes like that.
Yeah. I'm looking at some of these comments. I like with
Hmm.
William. I don't know what he says it's actually getting worse with
Mm-hmm.
crypto and things. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm not sure. From
Yeah,
what I've looked at and read, I don't think that's the case, but I don't know.
well, the interesting piece, excuse me, is like the crypto stuff and like the sports betting. That's legal almost everywhere now. And you can just,
Yeah.
grab DraftKings, which, and then all of a sudden you're betting, it's so easy to click a button on your phone and bet like a video game on sports. At least you can't do like casino games everywhere just yet, but sports is becoming pretty prolific. And that could be a danger for kids
Yeah.
when it's too
It could
easy to
be. I don't
do,
know. Maybe because it's just like playing a game on your phone. And maybe they're not making a connection, but that might be the case with sports betting. I'm not connected. I'm not a sports bettor. I like to bet on horse racing, which ironically enough, now that I'm in Nevada, I can't bet on horses unless I'm at a casino. But I
Right.
like betting horses, but I'm not into sports betting, and I know it is. It's like everywhere, and it's on your phones. But I mean, I'm just kind of in the casino environment, and I'm just not seeing as much addiction. But yeah, as far as sports betting, I mean, it's booming for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's the thing now, right? It's everywhere
I'm thinking
because
this
every
T-shirt, by
state's.
the way.
Yeah, right. So this is my fifth T-shirt of the night, by the way. I've been
Uh,
changing with because I've got everybody's
according
swag
to
and I'm
who's
wearing
on.
everybody's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Well, I'm a degenerate, I guess, right? That's my addiction is swag, and I got people's chips, and I'm showing the chips all day long, and it's like, it's fun. It's a cool community, and and you were called out earlier today because it's you're obviously the big dog, right? You got so many subscribers, but like it's really interesting the the size of the community that you built, not just your own, but like all of us together. It's kind of cool when you look back at like the path behind you, I guess. Like you kind of let this like carved a wide path, and here we are just walking behind you in it. It's pretty awesome.
And I don't know why that is. There were just when I started, there were just very few channels, and I think that's why I'm so big. Is I mean, I'm not doing anything special. I have some production ability, but I mean, there's plenty of guys that know more about the game, or they definitely play more than me. I'm not. That's part of. I don't play much. I don't. Some people might think, he's in the casinos all the time, but I rarely play. So there's obviously guys that play more than me. They have more experience than me. They have
Mhm.
more knowledge than me. I just happen to be, not the first, but one of the first. And since then, I mean, I try to follow everyone. So I'm following like over 200 different crafts channels out there. So it's fun to see everybody and everyone's little niche and different personalities. But yeah, I don't know why. I did see it was a hole in the YouTube environment, and I tried to fill
Mhm.
it with good content. And so it's been a fun ride for me. But yeah, as far as, I mean, just seeing so many channels, coming behind and doing it has been cool to see. And I'm not sure why. I mean, I guess we're like, well, that Joker could do it. I guess I could do it too. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know you didn't try to do this, but you filled a void that wasn't there, right? Here comes the hookers again. I'm sorry for the porn stuff. You filled a
You got to
hole that
put
wasn't there. Well, I don't have the
them
button,
on a
right?
blacklist.
Everybody else is the people who are chatting are hitting the button to ban these people, but it comes up every like 20 minutes. Um,
Yeah, you got to go in your
but
YouTube settings and put blacklist those words.
yeah, that's what I gotta do is blacklist the words, the XYZ, the .xyz's are where it always comes from. It seems like, but remember, we're streaming on 20 channels right now, so this is coming from
Yeah.
everybody. This is the combined chat that we're seeing. Um, but yeah, you filled a need that wasn't there, which was thoughtful content. Like a lot of guys were filming themselves practicing, or here's my ideas, or here's the DVD I'm trying to sell. So it's a 2-minute video, or here's me holding up my book while I talk about craps, and you've called some of those folks out. You just went at it like, hey, I'm going to make a quality video and teach. And there was nothing like that when you started, you know?
No, yeah, just a couple like casino promotions. A couple guys trying to, get quick, selling books about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were a couple. Bone Thrower was there. There was a couple guys. Maybe El Toro was before me, I think. I don't know. There wasn't
Mm-hmm.
much, that's for sure. Just maybe two or three active guys that at least that I was aware of at the time. But yeah, not much. But I knew it was big because when you look at some of these, like the Sahara had a video how to play craps, and it was 10 years old, but it had 500,000 views. I'm like, people are
Mm-hmm.
interested. So
Now, did you do the Elf channel before or after the craps channel? Like, were you already in
that
YouTube
was the
space?
that was after I think. I'm not sure actually.
Yeah, I was just curious because I
I
think
think it was
that could
after.
lead you to. Yeah, okay. Because one begets the other, right? Once you figure out the whole way YouTube works, then you can, I'm already, I'm such a nerd. I'm already thinking about other channels to start. This has been so much fun for me, and learning like how it all works, like we're doing here. But I'm a cook, right? I'm software developer too, but I used to be a chef. So now I'm going to do a little bit of a cooking thing, and I want to do a little bit of coding, how to code with John kind of thing. And it's like it's fun because there is a niche out
Yeah,
there that isn't filled.
yeah. If you could find what it is, I'm pretty confident I could start a channel on anything I wanted and make it successful if I find that there's a hole missing and I'm interested in it. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
you got to stick at it. I mean, I didn't see anything for 2 years on my channel. It was pretty dry. Um, I remember it was like 3 months, and I had like 10 subscribers or something ridiculous. It was a long haul for me. So if you guys out there with all your channels, hang in there, but it takes time. But yeah, I came from a production environment, and a guy told me about you. He's like, this guy makes money on YouTube. He's talking about Casey Neistat at the time. I don't know if anybody knows him, kind of a famous blogger. And I'm like, people make money on YouTube. So I always had in the back of my mind, like, if I can stumble upon an idea that there seems to be people interested in, if there's not great content out there, you could build a YouTube channel around it. And so one day I just stumbled on a Craps video, and I'm like, I love that game. Let me look for more videos, and there just wasn't. So I kind of did the same thing with the little elf on the shelf guy. I'm like, I'd been making a couple videos just for family things and for fun, and then I looked online. There's like one other lady, and she was just dominating every Christmas. I'm like, I can make elf videos, and so yeah.
And that's like a 1 month run. Like that, you start that on Black Friday, and then that's it, right?
Yeah, I've tried it. I mean, there's been years in the past where I've made videos all throughout the year, and it's just completely dead. But as soon as like the day after Black Friday, it just takes off, and then the day after Christmas, it just completely falls off. So it's pretty funny. Yeah,
that's pretty cute.
Yeah, it'll go from like 50 views a day to like 50,000 a day in the
right. That's funny. Yeah. 50 to 50,000. That's hysterical. Well, I was telling my wife, I'm like, so my daughter, my son's out. My son now lives over in Oregon. He's moved out, graduated college. My daughter is a junior in high school. And we've stopped the Elf on the Shelf thing years and years ago. I'm like, we're resurrecting it this year because, I was thinking about when I was making the picture for the auction for your tablecloth. And I'm telling everybody all day, like, this thing, it's Craps history. You got to get on this and whatever. And I said, and it's got elf blood on it. And if like, there's like 5 people that probably remember you saying that last year on one of your, I think you interviewed with Dave or somebody, or maybe it was the guys on the podcast. And I'm like, that's fantastic that you had this. Why don't you tell that story? What's on the table?
It's one of my biggest videos. It happened to be the Elf on the Shelf operation. So we through a little video magic, we cut the elf open, and he's got like, I forget now, like candy and little toys and stuff is inside this elf, and I'm pulling all these things out of this little elf. And there's some goo with glitter, and so on that table, and I haven't got it off, there's a couple red spots of elf blood with a little glitter infused in it. So.
Of course, elf blood has glitter in it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, of course. What else would it have?
Right. Now, I'm gonna go see real quick. I'm gonna switch over here. I'm gonna refresh the screen. Now that you're on, you can start telling folks. Let's see. You're up to 525 on the layout. It's pretty good. Oh, okay. Pretty good auction price right there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to pump that thing up, but I think, you've put up a bunch of things for the auction and everything's got bids on it. So that's really cool. We appreciate that. Yeah, that's awesome. I think that layout is, I think that's one of the coolest things that we could have had.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously if you're a fan of the show, you know that the payoffs in the prop box are not standard. They're a little lower than they should be. Mm-hmm. And then it's a 10-foot table. It's got the big 6 and 8 though. It's disappearing. So right. Get that big 6 and 8 while you can.
That's funny. What's on tap? What's coming up for the channel? I know you still do the dice advice. I haven't seen you do a challenge in a while. Are you bringing those back at some point?
I mean, probably. I might do it for maybe my green club members or something. Not a lot of people appreciate it, which I thought was kind of odd. I mean, they just pull in low numbers. So I think it's just really for hardcore fans would like to see 2 different strategies kind of against each other, but they just do poorly. So I'm not sure that the interest is all there. But I'll probably do a couple more. I did just recently I redid my layout. So I got one where I could flip it around and it's crapless. Just because everywhere I go, it seems like there's a crapless table and they're full. Mm-hmm. So I'll probably be making more videos on that. So people could send me dice advice. Now, I have a database. It's literally hundreds. So people are like, "Oh, you just did my strategy. I submitted it 3 years ago," and I'm like, ah,
Yeah.
it's how it goes sometimes. So I
Right.
have hundreds of those, but I don't have any crapless craps strategies. So if anyone has any, probably jump to the top of the list pretty quick. But
It's probably
yeah.
not a
So
come bet strategy, I'm sure, for crapless, right? Nobody's doing a come bet on
nope.
crapless table.
I don't know. It's pretty high house edge,
Oh man,
almost six
getting that,
percent. But
having that thing go to a 2, having to repeat
yeah,
that, man, that's rough.
it's no fun. But if it hits, it pays well. So
Well,
um,
it's a flat, right? If it's a come bet, it's a flat unless you're taking the odds on it. But
well, yeah. I
that's a
mean,
rough
if you
pay.
well, if you're playing the come, you should probably be adding odds anyway. So then you go with your what 6-1 payoff.
Hmm.
So that'd be fun if it hits. But yeah, unlikely. But you never know.
Yeah, Greg, 5 and 5. My crapless strategy is to skip it. Well, Greg, you can't play crapless because you're a don't player. There's no such thing. They wouldn't even
No.
let you near the table. They'd see you come in like, nope, can't do it.
Yeah, so I'll probably sprinkle that in. I mean, I'm not interested in the game too much myself. And, I want to keep the standard game alive, so I
Hmm.
definitely keep in with the standard game. But I'll sprinkle in the crapless a little bit because there are people that play it. And I think it'll be
Yep.
kind of a little interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I have a list, spreadsheet of ideas that always come through. It's more of like finding time to do the ideas in my videos.
Right.
I'm just like anyone else. I'm not a full time YouTuber. I got a job, so I'm just like a lot of you guys
Hmm.
out there. So if you're in the YouTube grind, it's tough. It's tough to squeeze all your ideas in. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, these things take time, right? And I tell people all the time, this is hard work doing these videos. It's really hard. But for not, and I have no production skills like you do, but it's hard work. It still takes time and dedication, and
yeah.
people
There's
appreciate that.
planning, and then the actual filming of it, and then editing, and then
Hmm.
just simple stuff. Description and thumbnails and scheduling and planning out the next one. It's all kind of
It's a
it's
lot.
involved, but yeah.
So when someone sends you a strategy for your dice advice, what's your criteria? I know you like funny names.
Yeah.
What is it about a strategy that kind of catches your eye and you go, yeah, I want to put that out there? Like, what makes it valuable to you?
uh, that it's different a little bit. People say there's, a couple. You could probably fit everything in a couple different categories as far as strategies go. Um, so something that's unique and different. Um, you know, I've probably got 200 different, barely slightly variations on the Iron Cross, and I think
Hmm.
people are going to be sick of that. But if you're trying something different, I'm not a hedge player myself, but I know people have fun thinking that it might give them a better chance, and so they like watching hedge strategies, where you're playing this to offset this and kind of going around in circles. But I always say it's more about what your goal is at the game. If you want to win, it's probably not the way to go. But if you want time at the table and a chance to win $20, then yeah, let's hedge a hedge.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I think it's something unique if you can, and then a catchy name that kind of explains it quickly. Um, is always helpful, and just an easy way to describe it. When it's a couple of them, they just get so complicated um, that
Hmm.
it would. I mean, I think I pride myself a little bit on being able to explain things and break things down in an easy way for people to understand. But some of these strategies I get are, I mean, I can't explain them in an easy way, and so they kind of get
Right.
skipped over. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I play some things like that where it's a transition strategy. You start with this, and after hit, it turns into that, and after that, it turns into something else. And you couldn't do it in a 15, 20 minute rollout and ever get there.
yeah, it's tough to do that. So I kind of stick to things like, here's the setup, you do these 6 things, and then you just
Hmm.
repeat. Obviously, at some point, you can, with any strategy, you can always adapt and adjust, and you probably should. But yeah, that's kind of it. I look for ease of use, kind of simplicity, a good name, and
Right.
I know some strategies I get in. I'm like, these people have never played craps, and um, it's just kind of apparent the things that they're submitting. Like, you've never played, have you? So.
That video the other night was funny. The one where you did the hard ways. That was one of your worst rollouts ever.
Oh yeah, I
The hard
mean,
eight.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm pretty well known, and most people know this, but I give strategies one chance. So
Hmm.
I feel like that's the fairest way to do it. So I don't re-record them to make them look good or bad, and I'm
Right.
kind of known as the strategy killer. They all look bad, typically. I mean, every once in a while I win, but um,
Yep.
so I'm doing my part for gamblers right there, because if they watch my channel enough, they'll be like, "You can't win at this game."
Why would I ever do that? Yeah.
So yeah, why would I play that game? Because this guy plays it every couple times a week and loses every time.
Oh my gosh. I think it's good when they lose. I do a live stream every day, and I'm like, I don't love losing because you want to be like, here's a strategy that can is a good idea. Let's try it, and then it gets whacked. I'm like, well, it's good to see that it doesn't win. Like I can film the perfect video like you can. Here's the way it works. Here's the golden way it's gonna pay you, and all these things. And then the live rollout comes, and Rick does this with Let It Roll. Here's the way the strategy works, and the next day you get the live video, of it actually being rolled out. I think it's good when they fail. It's good to say,
Yeah,
you know
for
what,
sure.
there's a hole here.
Yeah, and sometimes I not too bad, but I do feel bad sometimes whenever a strategy just hits on all cylinders and it's a perfect roll and it weaves through the trouble areas, which all strategies have a trouble spot, and it
Hmm.
looks like amazing, and I'm like, people are probably gonna take this and think like that it's like the magic formula. And I don't say it in every video, but I definitely try. Every strategy wins sometimes. None of them win all the time.
Right.
So yeah, sometimes I feel a little guilt about those ones. Like, they just thread the needle and you just come out like looking like a rose, smelling like a rose. And if I played
Yeah.
10 more times, they might lose eight of them. But that's what I
Yeah.
decided to do when I first started, was just rolling one time, and that's it.
What is what's your go-to? Oh, here's somebody calling in. What is your go-to?
What do you mean?
Your go-to strategy. What is your
Oh, um, well, I'm not a big bankroll guy, and I don't play that much, so I have a
Mhm.
small amount. So I don't really have a go-to strategy that has a name, but it's usually start small, win what I initially lay out there. Like, okay, I guess if I did have a go-to, it might be like 22 inside or something like that. Um, but I start small, try to win that money back, and then once I've recouped, that $20, $40 that I put out, then I'll start pressing heavier and go for a big score. Um, and that's kind of it. That's kind of how I find my enjoyment is, pay it real conservative at the beginning just to get
Mhm.
that. I don't, they call it house money. I don't, obviously, I think that's been beat to death. I think most of us know it's not house money, it's our money. But it is a little more comfortable when it's money that didn't come from your pocket and you can
Yeah.
press. I feel comfortable pressing that money. Um, the money that I saved up for the last 2 months to go to the casino and have fun with, not so
Mhm.
fun for me pressing or playing really big for the, two rolls in regress. It's not me. So
Sure.
more, I'm usually start small and slow, and then move fast once I got some
So you're
winnings.
so you're building, not regressing and going. That's more your style.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I kind of do every once in a while. We'll play kind of in the middle a little bit, but it's kind of the same. I'm trying to get the same, reach the same goal of get that money off the table, get it back into my pocket, and then with any winnings, then I'll press, play big.
Mhm.
So that's the only time I wouldn't play and just regress and then watch the table. Usually, if it's regressing, it's to recoup that money, so then I could, with any other further winnings, press big.
Right. Cool. So, I guess a couple of other things I want to chat with you about is, well, we talked a little bit about the channel. What's up next for the channel? Anything new and exciting you want to launch here, or talk through, or different directions,
No,
maybe?
I moved to Reno for a specific reason, and that's to find
Mhm.
a partner
Yep.
with a casino. So I'm working on that. I got a couple. I don't know what's the term, pokers in the fire or whatever. So
Yep.
I got some interest, and so that's moving along, and we'll see where it goes from there. I don't want to say too much, but
Yeah.
I'm not the type that announces, and I'll just wait until it's in place, and then I'll let you guys know. But yeah, that's what I'm working on.
But you're digging Reno.
Oh yeah, yeah. I couldn't, like, for me, Vegas, I love it. It's a favorite place, but 3 days and I'm done.
Yeah.
But Reno's different. It's got a small town feel, and it's just it's a nice place to live. And then it does have the this Vegas style resorts. There's a
Hmm.
couple really nice ones that are worth going to. So small town
Yeah.
feel, but you still have access to that Vegas weekend if you want.
Yeah. You're not that far from Vegas. Yeah. And it's not, when I was there, I really enjoyed, like you said, like the casinos are smaller, which is nice. You're a little more personal. And I loved how you said it's like it's a town like that happens to have some casinos in it versus
Mm-hmm.
a casino with the city around it kind of thing. I went and looked at Mesquite, and it's the same sort of setup. Mesquite's got 3 or 4 casinos, little tiny town. It's same sort of deal, which is nice and comfortable. It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, you got the three downtown like connected, like would so you can walk to all of them. But I avoid those actually. They're El Dorado or Caesar casinos,
Yep.
just because they're $25 tables and they're just more corporate-y. But there's
Hmm.
the Peppermill and the GSR and the Nugget and the Atlantis, and that might be it for tables. And then there's the Lake Tahoe ones, but yeah, they're just they still free parking. They're still kind of that. They're all individually owned
Hmm.
places except for the ones downtown. So they can do things. I think the comps are better if you come up and visit. Um, you learn the rooms quicker and different things. So yeah, like I said, free parking, and they still have the $7.99 steak deals and stuff like that.
Right.
So they're still
Mm-hmm.
they have to attract the people. So it's still kind of got that part of it, which I love.
That's cool. And you're close to Tahoe. Like I said, Tahoe's a nice little vacation spot if you want to get away from it, but also not have to drive 9 hours to get someplace or fly. Tahoe's pretty cool.
Yeah, but living in Colorado, we picked up skiing, snow skiing, and so we really like that. So we
Mm.
knew when we picked the spot, we wanted to kind of access to that. So the weather's been nice, but it's right there. We live in the foothills, but we see the ski slopes just out our back door, and so itching
Mm.
to get out there this year.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Brian just says that it was cool playing with you and me at this GSR. That was fun. Get on an actual live table. We played some bubble craps earlier than that, but that was fun playing there.
Yeah,
That was a really cool place. If GSR is
yeah,
big, that's a big place. That's no joke.
yeah. That's probably one of the bigger ones. They have all the shows and different things like that. So GSR is a nice one, kind of big open feel. Peppermill is more of a classier one, I would say, but
Hmm.
it's like a maze. I get lost in there still. Atlantis is just like an old school 1980s themed. It's kind of a tropical theme, but it's kind of a little. I don't know. It's okay. And the Nugget's different. I haven't spent much time in the Nugget. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little different for everybody.
Yeah. The Atlantis I thought was really tight. It was small. And they had a table there which I had never
Yeah, a
seen,
lot of
which
people.
was half five and half 10. $5 on one half table, $10 on the other half of the table. That was weird.
Yeah, they're the most crap friendly, I would say, because they do run those tables. So, like you said, they're split, which means I think they're the only one in town running on the really small ones, running $5 tables. There's some in
Hmm.
Carson City, different things that are $5. But so yeah, they half the tables five and half 10. I think more places should do that. And then they also have like the roll counter, like they do at like Fremont
Hmm.
and different things, where they keep track of the roll, and they have TVs up around the three tables where you can see the leaderboard for that day and different things. So I
Yeah.
think they kind of cater to the craps player more than the other casinos. But yeah.
Like I got a picture of that somewhere. And it's kind of funny because the picture makes me laugh. The roll counter was, I think it was 21 rolls, you win a t-shirt or whatever, 25 rolls as a t-shirt. And then it was like 60 rolls. You won this half of the progressive jackpot. and 75 rolls was the whole jackpot. But I think the 60 rolls, like the jackpot was like $230. And the 75 was like four. I'm like, if I roll 75 rolls, I'm making more than $400. I can tell you that.
I would hope so, unless you're really playing some hedge strategy.
I mean,
If you're
you
not
can
winning
say
on that
bet
roll.
one number over 75 rolls and still make $400. You could, I mean, that's kind of funny. No, it's cool. It's cool. I love the town. It was actually a lot of fun being there. It's an interesting place, and I think for people looking for a place to go, that's a little different. A smaller city, Mesquite, Reno, Tahoe. There's other places to go than all of that. Because Vegas is a lot. Vegas is fun, but it's a lot. You're right. It's one of those things where it can be overwhelming, and especially if you've got kind of a predilection to some kind of a problem, it's tough.
And
you came from
a different feel, different environment.
A whole different feel. You're surrounded. You can't get away from it, really. Now you were in Colorado, right? Compare Colorado to where you're at now, because I've never been to Colorado casinos. I hear good things about them, but compare that. Like, what is it like compared to Reno and Vegas for those of us who've never been?
Blackhawk I loved Blackhawk. Now this is most of my time there was pre-COVID, so it's like everyone was $5 tables. It's kind of like almost like the old Vegas downtown. It's a little bit more spread out, but everything's walkable. So there's probably 10 casinos all within a little bit of a walking distance. So that part's really nice. You can stay at one and kind of walk to where all of them, whereas Reno you can't. You really have to drive around or Uber around. So it's like a little miniature thing, but it's an old ghost town. So Denver said, or Colorado said, we're going to allow gambling, but we want it pushed out. So they picked these Cripple Creek and Blackhawk, these old ghost towns with nothing going on. So it's all these couple of antique houses and then just all these casinos. So they've got, most of them are smaller places, and then they got a couple, the Monarch and Ameristar are, I would say like Vegas style casinos are big and nice, but for the most part, they almost have like a mom and pop feel. Now since COVID, everything's like $10 and it's hard to find crews. So they've got, it's not a 24-hour town and stuff anymore. It's usually like a weekend town, and maybe you can half the tables in town are open, at 8 p.m. or whatever. But it's a little hit and miss now. But before, and I hopefully it gets back to that. It was just like $5 paradise. So it's cool in that way. Now there's nothing else there. There's no restaurants. There's no shows. It's literally just half of them are decent casinos. The other half are all just slot parlors. And a couple places have food, Ameristar and different things, but it's not like a town. There's no restaurants. There's no shopping. Like if your wife's not interested in gambling, you're bringing her. There's nothing but casinos. So it's a little different in that way.
Well, definitely a destination.
I mean, it is, yeah, 30, 40 minutes away from Denver, so you can obviously just go there. But
yeah. But the ride sounds great. It sounds like it's a beautiful ride up there. So
yeah, you go through this little canyon. If you go the right way, it's really beautiful along the river through this canyon. It's pretty cool. Reminds me of I went to Deadwood, which I had to do off my bucket list. So we went to Mount Rushmore and Deadwood, and Deadwood's kind of the same thing. It's an old Western cowboy town, but they're a little more mixed. They have casinos, but they have more touristy, shops, and they sell trinkets, and they have restaurants and stuff. So that's more of a family. Everyone could find something to do, whereas Blackhawk is more just gambling.
Deadwood. I've been through. I was actually in Deadwood, but in the '90s, so they didn't have the casino when I went through it. I had more fun at Wall Drug than I did in Deadwood. But you're right. That's a bucket list thing for me. Wall Drug. Have you been to Wall Drug? In South Dakota? No, it's stupid. There's Wall Drug signs everywhere, and it's like a giant weird like curiosity shop. Alligators with human heads and that kind of thing. It's just a weird place.
Okay.
The South Dakota is kind of famous for that. But yeah, I want to go to Deadwood. Deadwood's definitely a bucket list thing for me too. I gotta travel and see it. So All right, man, we're about out of time here. So you can close up here, talk about the club a little bit. I've been telling folks all day long, we're here, streaming in front of people that probably, well, everybody has to know Jeremy, I'm sure, but let's talk about the club and how great it is and what folks can expect. And yeah.
No, it's just community. I'm trying to get people together. I know Craps Nation does it as well. They're bringing the community together. I charge for it because I'm a greedy bastard. Not really. I want people to. It's not a small amount. You can get in for like $5. So it's just a little something to give some investment. It weeds out people. Usually, if things are free, it brings in some unsavory stuff. But it's a friendly environment, and it's growing, and there's just a bunch of great people. So that's
Mm-hmm.
really, they share information about where they are locally, and then they, fantasy crafts and that sort of thing. But it's real. People are becoming good friends, and they meet up all the time in real life.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know a lot of people through it. And so it's really just about making a community of, all of us that love crafts. So that's
It's,
it.
it's worked. It's worked well for that goal. I mean, I can tell you that I'm a member of the club and also Craps Nation. And I find that the conversations we have in the club they're great conversations. There's really good strategy talk. The fantasy craps goes almost every night now. And that's a big group. Like
Yeah.
they're busy in there and the tournament is fun. So it's a great way to kind of just do craps during the day on your coffee breaks and stuff like that. It's really cool. I'm glad you put it together because
Yeah, it's
that fills a void.
yeah, it is. I know. When I first started, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, here we go. He's going to shut down YouTube or whatever, and everything's going to be behind the paywall." But that's not the case at all. I still love making videos, and
Mm-hmm.
so YouTube. That's not going anywhere. You can always watch for free on YouTube, and but yeah, the club is more about community. So
Yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, you didn't go to Patreon. You're not charging for your strategies. In fact, I think you do a great job of calling folks out that are charging for stuff. That's my favorite thing about your channel. I like wait. I'm like, when's he going to do it again? When's he going to get somebody who's charging for the next great trap and expose it? It's the best.
they're not worth it, folks. They're not worth it. They're not worth 2 cents. You can find it for free on the internet, and I'll try to roll it and show it to you for free.
Yep.
They're just not worth it.
No, I love that. It's funny because you're so soft spoken and you're so humble, but when one of those things comes around, you're like, okay, we're gonna hammer this guy.
I think
He's charging
every
$100
once in a while it
bucks.
just gets on my nerve. Like, what's this guy doing selling this for this slight variation of iron cross for $500 and promising that it's going to win every time and you're going to win thousands? I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah,
It's a
win
gambling
1,000
game.
by
You got to,
Saturday.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
annoying. I'm glad.
it does get on my nerves every once in a while. So I try to, I don't know.
Yeah, I love when you call those guys out. It's fun. It's fun, super fun. And people charging for this stuff is just unless you're writing a book, I guess it's different. If it's an actual I have my John Patrick Craps
Yeah,
Bible here, right?
yeah.
That's
I
different,
don't.
right? But
Information's fine. If you want to, I don't even mind. Most of you know that I'm not really a dice control guy. But if you want to teach that class and people think that they know what they're getting into, that's fine. You want to sell a book on it. I mean, I've been trying to write a book for a couple of years here, so I might put out a book. But I have no problem with information. I have no problem if you start a club. But I mean, to blatantly say like this will win every time if you do this and that sort of thing.
yeah,
It's just not, that snake oil stuff is not good.
I'm
So
not into that at all. Yeah, Greg,
yeah,
Jeremy's video with King Dice was hilarious. That was one of the best. That was, that period of time in your channel when you were doing the King Dice, and then it's like almost like the CEG stuff came like right after that. You were like kind of like making the rounds there. That was
well, I
great
was just
TV
trying
at
to,
the
I was
time.
trying to, yeah, I was trying to reach out to people, and I got to give King Dice credit. He's the only one willing to put his reputation on the line. He was a smaller channel then, but
Yeah,
yeah, he did it, and he personally, we had a good time. He's a nice guy. Um, I'm not trying to like embarrass anybody or anything. It didn't turn
no,
out too well for the dice control versus the random guy, but I mean, it is what it is. You know, but I got to give him credit for sticking it out there. So that
for
was
sick
fun.
at least he put his neck out there, like you said. He did
Yeah,
it,
it was
which
in
is
a
big.
no win situation. Like, if he beat me bad or something, he should, right? And if he lost,
Mhm.
it's whatever. But I think he's came out of it okay. So it's all good.
Yeah. It was good stuff. Like it's all, to me, it's all good entertainment, you know. And I feel like I was going to say this earlier. I've got like my own little addiction. My new addiction is this, the YouTube thing. I think I've watched every single Craps video on YouTube. There's a high probability that I've watched all 200 channels. I probably subscribe to 100, and I'm looking for things to watch. Like YouTube once in a while surprises me with a suggestion of something I've never heard of, but I feel like I've watched everything. I don't know that I don't know. I'm getting to be. We need El Toro back.
I think it's like
give me something new to watch.
230 channels. Yeah,
wow.
I run a search. I run a search on YouTube once a week to see if there's any new content or news channels. And so if I haven't commented on your channel or whatever, if you're a small guy, I might not say anything or whatever, but I've probably seen you. So I just like to see what people are up to.
Yep. Well, we got somebody from a smaller channel come up next. We have Jeff from Atlantic. Craps is in the waiting room now. So
okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
It'll be fun to talk to Jeff. Jeff's going to roll out a strategy. He's been practicing all week. He's been putting out his practice videos. And basically every dollar that he wins is practice sessions, and whatever he wins coming up here, he's throwing 50 cents on the dollar at the charity. So I think he's already rolled nice. Like 300 and some bucks worth of profit. So Jeff's putting his money where his time is, which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully catch this flight, and then I may pop it in the wrap up hour if I land in Dallas in time. But otherwise, I appreciate what you're putting us together, and
yeah. Thanks for coming out and joining us. I know it was kind of rough going to the airport and everything else, but the timing worked out. And thanks to Greg 555 for switching times. That was really cool of him to do that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And and I'll send you the Zoom link in a little while. So if you get a chance to come on in and you can join that'd be cool. I'm going to open the Zoom up to everybody. So all of us that were here and people that are watching can just join, like 100 people. We'll just go and wave to each other, and it'll just be a fun way to end this thing. So safe flight, Jeremy.
All right.
Thanks again for joining. I'll see you later.
See you guys.
Yeah. Bye.